Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here with, hitting back with a bang with Mr. Westberg of Swans and Your Solo Work, an incredible guitarist, a musician, artist in general. Before we get into the interview, though, I just want to say I'm not wearing I usually wear green like a sweatshirt for my interviews, but I'm not wearing that because it's in the wash because I was eating some cheese dip and I stained it. So
Okay.
it's in the wash right now. So, but yeah, thank you so much for being here. And how are you?
Oh, I'm fine. A little frantic. There's a lot going on with personal
Mm.
house stuff and weird stuff, but it's fine.
Well, that's how life is, especially, these weird
Yeah.
times we're in. I want to thank you for doing this with me. I really appreciate it. It's an honor to speak to you. Um, all the work you've done is just it's incredible. It really is.
And
There's
you're
no
in
other way to put it.
you're in high school, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have a 14-year-old daughter in a
Oh,
music high school here in New York.
that's awesome. In music high school,
Yeah, she plays violin.
I play violin.
You play
That's
violin too?
incredible. Yes, sir.
Oh,
Has she
wow.
done All-State?
I don't know what that is.
Oh, so I don't know if New York has this. Georgia has like an all-state orchestra where
Oh, I see.
yeah, it's like you do a couple of auditions and then you get to play up in Athens, like in the
Right.
UGA campus. It's a weird experience. It's totally because it's frantic and everyone's trying to do their stuff and you only have 2 days to do it. But
Wow.
it's it's
Well, that sounds
it's
exciting.
crazy. Oh, it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
And all everyone's out at like 11 o'clock getting cookies after playing violin for 13 hours. And
Wow.
I mean, I would think that's maybe like the like rehearsal, like a band rehearsal. Maybe not as intimidating, but
Probably every bit as much. No, I would think so. Band rehearsals are usually just fun. You're learning things. You're not on the spot, really.
yeah, that's the Allstate is completely on the spot. Like they'll give you your
Yeah.
music in advance, but no one practices their music in advance. Like that's
What do
the
you
whole
mean? Why not?
the fun of it.
Oh,
Uh,
I see.
yeah. And also everyone's pretentious. Everyone has a 90% of the people there have a massive ego. And anyways, it's a whole
That's funny.
experience. Yeah, it's crazy. So I'm gonna go straight into it. What's your favorite Swans era and album?
I don't know. Of course, I love the first record
Oh yeah.
and like just the fun of uh, discovery. For that kind of thing.
So you
Um,
prefer the punk?
Well, I was playing a certain type of, I was playing music, but I wasn't that aware that you could just do whatever.
Mm.
So it wasn't until actually playing in Swans where it was like, oh, wait a minute, I can just do anything? That's like mind blowing. And then I started hearing a little more of what was going on. I'm from, the 70s, classic rock kind of era. So
Yeah, I
it's
mean,
more about that.
I've been lucky enough to see Journey and Toto and all those like classic rock, the arena bands. But
Yes,
I've also have been lucky enough to see some smaller acts and to see like, Christoph Hahn.
of course.
Yeah, he and me were talking, and I'm on the guest list for the Atlanta show, so
Oh,
I'm
excellent.
I'm very excited for that. And
Oh, yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, and honestly, I think it may be the best gig I'll ever go to because I've
Oh, I
seen
don't know.
I've seen a bunch of crazy acts, but there's something special. And I think you brought that. Like I don't. Do you know where Reddit is?
Where what is?
Reddit. Do you know what that is?
You mean the website?
Yeah, it's
Sure. Yeah,
they have like a Swans section, and I
they
asked
do. And the bass player set it up
Yeah, he actually gave a question for you, which I'll get to later, but
for me.
I
That's
asked
funny.
everyone what they wanted to hear from you. And I think I got maybe 70 answers, and everyone is it's crazy. The Swans community, and
Huh.
everyone's super smart. That's what I've noticed. It's not like Journey where you have like the dads with the dad bods and they got their beer in one hand and they're just They're there. It's I don't know. Anyways, yeah, you
It's
got
funny.
so you know what? Actually, we'll get to that. I'll do that right now. He
Okay.
asked to talk about the naked supper super. I'm not sure what like it's SUPER, and he
Yeah, you
said
know
that
what a
you'll know what
super
that is.
is?
Well, I don't know if it's naked super or naked supper.
No, naked superintendent. You know, like you have a building where the guy kind of
Yeah.
sweeps up. Well, I lived in a building. It's called a single room occupancy,
Yeah.
an SRO. When I first joined Swans, I lived in one of these, and it was super cheap, but it was really weird. And the guy who would sweep up the hallways wore a bathrobe, but he never fastened it. And needless to say, he was naked underneath it. And he'd be on the stairs, and I'd be talking to him, and his bathrobe would fall open, and he wouldn't even bother. It's just like, yeah, whatever, we're still talking. Funny guy. A huge Yes fan.
I love my Gmail is fragile.
Oh, that's
My
funny.
yeah, it's I love yes. And
I never saw Yes. Yeah, I was not that into prog. I saw a lot of 70s bands,
hmm.
but like Black Sabbath, I saw,
Ooh, that's like a
and but I never saw any of the prog bands.
do you
And
regret
I
that?
got into punk rock before. Not really. I saw a lot of good stuff. But yeah, Yes would have been a cool thing. I read about them, and I liked some of their music.
Yeah, I jumped headfirst into progressive rock because
Uh,
that's what I got introduced to first. And so I still like I love Genesis. I've got the
and did
double
you ever
LP.
did you see Roxy Music? Eddie Jobson played a lot of violin in
Ooh, I
Roxy
haven't.
Music
I'll look that up.
records,
Here.
early records, and also a band called Ultravox. Um,
Yeah, I
I
know
think his
Ultravox,
name
yeah.
is Billy Curry. He plays violin a lot. I saw them at small clubs twice. I was a big fan of
And how was that
Ultravox.
experience?
Oh, fantastic. They were great.
Have you listened to Jean-Luc Ponty?
I know who he is. Um, I haven't listened to any solo records, say.
You should
Doesn't he
definitely check
play
him out.
violin on that Zappa song, Directly from My Heart to You?
I know he
Or is
played
that
with
somebody else?
Holdsworth. I'm not sure if he plays with Zappa.
Oh,
I don't know. It gets confusing, but you should check him
yeah.
out. He's a
Yeah.
beautiful
I
what's the
met
word?
Shankar. Do
You
you
did?
know Shankar with the
I do.
double neck violin?
I
He
do.
played violin on The Burning World, the Swans record. And I walked into a studio while they were doing overdubs, and there he was sitting there with his double neck violin. But he had it in a pillowcase.
A
And I was like,
pillowcase.
why are you walking around with that in a pillowcase? And he goes, oh, the road case weighs a ton. And he wasn't going to walk around New York with the road case, and he didn't have like a gig bag for it. So he took the hotel pillowcase, and, you know, pretty weird, but that's what he did.
Insane. I
That
feel
was
like I'd get
exciting.
yelled at. I would get yelled at for sure if I brought my violin and I have a cheap violin or cheap in violin terms, but
But you have an acoustic violin, not
I
a
do.
lucite electric one. His was double neck lucite
Can't even
violin.
imagine that. I mean, I've played electric violins a couple of times and it's like the intonation is insane. You have to be a perfectionist to get that
Well,
correct intonation or you
oh,
just screw it up.
well,
But
you know that practice, 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 right?
and how is like so with like the Swans rehearsals, right? In the shows, is the improvisation that you do, is it like self-driven or is it
You mean
what
within Swans?
yeah, within
There's
Swans?
not improvisation really.
It's
There's
not
some, but no, we work out the songs. That was a thing. Even in early Swans days, we rehearsed a lot.
hmm.
So I wouldn't exactly call it improv. I mean, then we would just play until we played something Michael liked, and then we would work that out. But now Michael writes all the parts, and he directs everybody to play what he wants to hear. So
That's
it's not really,
interesting.
I wouldn't say improv. There's moments where you can sneak stuff in to make it be you, to kind of throw your own thing in there.
And
But
how,
it's not really improv. No, it's worked out.
okay. And how about at your solo shows? Is that more improvisation, like
I
guided
call it
or?
it's guided. I call it planned improv. So I know where I'm starting. I have an idea of what it should sound like, and if it doesn't, well, I have to figure out what to do on top of it. So yeah, that's it's not note for note, of course. I can't really play my songs note for note. They're not really songs, they're just me saying weird things on the guitar, I would say.
So they're like a part of you?
That's what I want them to be. I don't want to just be somebody playing something. I want to play just what happens,
Yeah.
without saying, well, I have to do this.
Do you think you succeed in that total
Occasionally, not always.
not always?
Nah, never always. Like some of the best Swans gigs have probably been in the rehearsal room, where it just feels the best.
Ah,
But
that's
there's always
crazy.
good gigs.
I mean, yeah, and are you gonna go like tour any of your solo albums anymore or
I
anytime
don't know.
soon?
I'm up for it. No time soon. I just did the entire Swans tour last time,
Yeah.
and we played the U.S., we played Europe twice, and played the U.K. and Ireland, and that was a lot for me getting up there just about every night and doing my thing. I got vaguely good at it near the end, um, but yeah, I'm waiting, playing, working on some new material for
Ooh,
a a recording with the Australian label. We have some plans. So that's
interesting.
if you're familiar, After Vacation,
I'm not. I'll have
the
to check them out.
album. That's my
Oh,
record.
oh yeah.
After Vacation, that came out on Room 40, which is an Australian label.
I think I've vaguely heard of them. Yeah. I'll look them up.
Yeah,
And
Room
then
40 is a great label. They do a lot of experimental,
ooh.
uh, you know, new music, I guess. A lot of ambient,
Mm.
experimental.
And what type of new music are you listening to right now? Is it more like ambient or?
No, I don't listen to ambient music. It was like in the 80s, I didn't listen to rock music necessarily, unless it was like 70s rock. I listened to a lot of blues because I didn't want to be influenced by hearing something that I could play and go, oh yeah, I could, why don't I do this? I didn't want that. So I kind of avoided hearing, if somebody said, oh, you would love this band, they sound just like you, I would avoid it. Like, I don't want to hear anything that you think sounds like I would like. And I kind of do that now. I don't really listen to ambient. There's like occasionally, if I start listening to ambient music, I say, well, I should be listening to my own music and working it out. So I feel a little guilty if I listen. So I listen to what I was just listening to Leonard Bernstein
Oh
conducting
yeah.
Mahler Symphony Number 9
Oh, I know a
because,
friend who played a little bit of Mahler.
yeah, it sounds pretty challenging. My daughter, the violin player,
Yeah.
she's got a Shostakovich piece she's working on
So she's really
for,
good, huh?
well, I don't know, I guess maybe she's gotten better. I don't hear her as much as I used to,
Mm.
but because she's playing all day at school because it is a school for the arts.
But I mean,
But
good for
yes, I
her.
have a bunch of classical music, vinyl, and CDs that I am kind of selling and listening to.
Who's your favorite composer?
Like that kind of music, long hair
Yeah.
music. I have no idea. I really enjoyed the Shostakovich. I've never really listened to any of it. Um, Once I heard her playing that, it was like, wow, what's that? So I got some records and listened to them. Very good. I like the Mahler, the bass player in a band I play in, another band called Wimbrels. We're a tricky guitar band based in New York. No recordings yet. Um, he's a Mahler fan, so I was digging into the Mahler and trying to figure out why he liked it. And I think I get it. It's pretty challenging stuff. I'm more of a light opera guy. I love West Side Story.
Oh,
I like Mario Lanza,
yeah, yeah.
and that kind of thing. And I like Lottie Lenya. I like Kurt Weill,
Oh, you listen to Kurt
and
Vile?
I like that kind of stuff. The Three Penny Opera
Yeah.
and all of that. Yeah, I like that.
I never would have guessed. Funnily, I mean,
Well,
it's funny. It's always, I don't know, but I mean, it's nice, opera. I haven't got into any opera really, but
well, I don't know much. That's more of a light opera, the Three Penny Opera. Like the serious opera, I don't know. I don't know that much about it. I love Bollywood. I mean, I'm a Bollywood fan.
oh,
I
yeah.
like the 90s era of Bollywood.
I don't listen to much Bollywood, but when I do, it'll definitely be that 90s kind of stuff. Cause, like my dad is just, he's like the typical Indian dad, or not, kind of, but like at Indian weddings, it's just always straight, like, everyone knows the songs. It's all straight 90s Indian jams. And Bollywood is super interesting, like that pop
Yeah.
or popular music that has the native instruments, like we
Yes,
don't typically see that.
it's pretty, especially that era. And I really liked it because they were just getting into like Michael Jackson.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of funky and soul-y. And then one day I went to a movie. This would have been in the 90s. And I heard a melody from a Deep Purple song. And I questioned a friend of mine about it. He goes, "Oh, yeah, yeah, those composers, they like Deep Purple and they'll use some of that in their, they might have 20 tabla players playing, but they're doing Deep Purple melodies," which was, wow. I'm not a big fan of the more recent stuff. I kind of stopped with that one time
Yeah.
period.
What I've noticed is that like the K-pop and the Bollywood and like the popular music of different
Yeah,
countries have been, I guess all popular music has just been progressing and progressing into a mindless sound the same. And I hate to say that because music is beautiful, but
I
I
think you
don't
would
know.
kind of think homogenous
Yeah, that's exactly
would be
great
a
word.
word for it. And part of it too, I noticed touring in the 80s, there was no internet and
Mm.
finding music was not easy. You had to go places and talk to people, and you couldn't just surf the net and go, "Oh, let me listen to this for a minute," which I don't know if it helps people your age. I mean,
Yeah, I mean that's it. Because if you can get all the information at the tip of your fingertips, how
mhm.
useful is it? Like you don't really retain the information, you know?
And it's just there, so you can always go back to it. We're a
Exactly.
little
That's
spoiled right now.
yeah, for sure. But at the same time, I wonder if I would have found out about swans if it wasn't for the internet.
Well, there you go. You might have. I mean, you're in Atlanta. One of the ex-Swans is from Atlanta,
Yeah.
Jarbo.
Yeah. Oh, she is?
Maybe there would have been. I think she still lives there.
Maybe I'll have
Um,
to meet up.
and so you're in a major city. It might have popped through at some point, and you would go, "Oh, I wonder what that's all about." Or you overhear somebody saying something. Once you get a little older, I used to go to the Mud Club, and they would play stuff, and wow, what is this? So I'd go and ask the DJ, and that's how I found out about Killing Joke, for example.
Uh,
It just was like, wow, what is that's? I want that. And I went up and I asked the DJ, and then I went to the record store, and they only had a single, and that's what I got. I think Requiem had just come out, or War Dance. I have them both, but
that's it's beautiful. And I mean, at the same, I kind of
now the internet, you just look it up and you're there.
yeah, I sometimes I wish that it was a more wholesome time period, where I don't know, I could do what I want and I could, it's like everyone's so separated. Everyone's separated. That's the best word for it. But it is what it
You don't
is.
think the internet brings everybody together into, everybody kind of wears the same clothes now worldwide because everybody sees what people wear online.
And like I don't like the internet brings great point because it, bringing everyone together. But what's the point of bringing everyone together if at the same time we're getting stripped of our uniqueness? I don't see the point
Yeah,
in
that's
that.
a right, right.
And the internet can be used for such horrific things. So it's
Yes,
like it's really is like a superpower. And
right.
the issue is that people can be the villain or the hero. I sorry for this elementary metaphor, but you can be the hero or the villain, and I see more people being the villain. But
Right.
it's a,
Oh well, I
it
hope it
is.
works out for your generation.
I do too. I mean, the way things are going, but it is what it
We'll
is.
see. I think people have always said that though. Like
That is
being
true.
older,
Yes.
it's like I think it's always that way. And each generation is kind of like feels, oh, that's it. It's over. The kids are horrible. They're not doing the right
Yeah.
thing. But they're doing what everybody does what they do.
And going back into that, do you think that when you were younger, did you think that you would ever lose your creativity as you got older or become like more closed-minded, like the typical old guy? And then
No,
now
I
that you're
always felt
older,
no, I always felt that well, I am old. Um, I always felt, well, I like music, so I don't really, and since I play, I always try to move forward, even though I don't really listen to um, pop music anymore. I still listen to the music I liked in the old days. And my daughter doesn't listen to modern music either. So she does me that favor of not blasting, whatever modern music is now. I have no idea, honestly.
I wish I could be where you are in the modern music thing, because every single time I hear a lifeless new song, it feels like I'm being like a little bit has just been stripped away. Like, oh, I heard this
Uh,
stupid 2-minute song, the same lyric over and over again in terrible production. I'm never getting that minute back.
uh,
But
well, you can dig.
Oh yeah. And how bad is your hearing loss?
Pretty bad. Yeah. I mean, I wear hearing aids. My buddy from Detroit bought me some hearing aids. He had them for himself, and he's not a musician, so he got them for me. And yeah, they help. I mean, part of it is, I might lose my hearing, but also it's, I don't know. I just don't understand sometimes.
You think it's
I
worth
might
it?
hear what playing.
Well, the
You
pursuit
can
of
have
beautiful
you can
music.
have hearing loss whether you're playing music or not.
That is true.
I'm sure yeah, standing next to a cymbal while it's being pounded didn't help, but I possibly would have had hearing loss anyway.
So I guess
Yeah,
if you're
it's
gonna have
fine.
it anyways, you might as well go, live
I
life.
didn't always wear glasses either. At your age, I didn't wear glasses. I didn't wear glasses till I was in my 40s, I think.
That's a good point. Yeah. I've been cursed
Yeah.
with the bad vision and it runs in the family,
Uh,
but I mean, again, that's like the whole theme of this interview. It is what it is, and you got to keep chugging on. Um, how did the experience of this like so when the burning world got like up and running, and I guess you wouldn't call it mainstream success, but I guess
no,
but the underground mainstream success or the success the underground success, how did that impact the creative integrity of the band or of Michael?
I don't think the underground liked the burning world at all. Um, I think Michael probably learned a lot during that experience about what he wanted, because he kind of gave up a lot of controls when he did that record.
Hmm.
And it was a big experience for me because I had never done a recording like that with somebody like Bill Laswell. It was pretty incredible. Um, very talk about on the spot. yes, being very on the spot. He was very, I mean, I'm proud of that record. I think it's, I played well and it was a step forward. Well, I don't know if it was a step forward. I think it was just a learning experience for Michael because he is the guy.
Yeah, he is the guy. So yeah, it's the would you say it's like a stalling point?
A stalling point? I don't know. I don't know. I never really thought about it. There was, yeah, a progression, and you always want to move forward, at
Of
least get the
course.
idea that you're moving forward rather than stepping back. And that was the next moving forward point, was the major label, I guess, with this idea of um, control, which there wasn't, and there's not, because you're dealing with, suddenly you're this little pea in this giant bag of peas rather than just kind of Michael decided, and I feel the same way about my solo music. It's mine. It goes where I want it to go, and it's in my terms, and that's the way Michael runs Swans. It's him, his label, his everything.
And do you think that's the right way to go?
Absolutely. I think if you make music, you can make music. You sell it on Bandcamp. You make music. It's so easy now to do it. You don't have to go to a recording studio. It's, you can have the stuff you need in your house. Um, and then it's up to you to, play what you really want to hear. Entertain yourself. That's the way I always looked at it.
That's super interesting. Yeah, I've never thought about it that way. And so if recording supplies and I guess like the whole production is so readily available, do you think the quality of the music decreases?
Um, Possibly. It might be harder to wade through it because you used to be able to, well, take for example Room 40, or another label I work with is Hallow Ground out of Switzerland. You can just buy everything on those labels and you'll have that kind of music.
Hmm.
It's like I guess you used to do in the old days. You buy a Blue Note record, you know that they have a standard that you want. And same with, let's look at Young God records when they were doing, Michael was doing that. He had a finger on it, so you had a good idea that it was going to be something, you might want to hear. But then now you're asking, like everybody having, like me, yeah, I can put anything up. Yeah, there's a lot to wade through. It's just a different way to search now, I think. I still go by, I might happen across something, like I happened across Of Montreal, that band Of Montreal.
I'll have to I'll look them up. I was thinking about UK, the band UK for some
Oh,
reason,
that's
but
now you're back to the 70s.
yeah.
Yeah, I saw them open for
You did?
Roxy Music. I think it was before Eddie Jobson was in it. No,
That's
I
like a
think,
dream concert.
yeah, it was a big space. I don't remember who they opened for.
And
Something
was
like that.
Holdsworth there? Like
I
was
don't
it
even know. I wasn't aware of that band at that point. Once again, I couldn't just go to my phone and look them up and go, "Who is this band I'm
exactly?
seeing?" Um, uh, I had heard of them. Was Patrick Moraz the keyboard guy in UK? Did he replace Eddie Jobson? I don't even know. I'm just weird names from the
Yeah,
70s.
the
Because
history is
Patrick
always tangled.
Moraz played in Yes,
Yeah,
right?
he did.
Yeah, yeah. He replaced Rick Wakeman, I guess.
Yeah.
Who is playing again? He's playing in New York soon.
You gonna go?
No, no,
Yeah,
I don't go to shows really.
you
And
don't?
that, let's see, I don't know if that would be a show I would go see anyway because I'm not that big of a fan. I don't know who I would go see at this point. But no, I don't really go to shows really.
It's, that's interesting because so I guess you only get your inspiration from like your surrounding environment, wherever it is.
Yeah, I mean, you can. see, I have some guitars
It's
and there's some
beautiful.
recording equipment around here. And there's more stuff. I have a cello and a lap steel. And there's no, I have violin since my daughter plays violin. I could always grab her violin if I needed. Yeah. And then listening to, I like getting excited about music. So having all my father-in-law's record collection, he passed a while ago, and now we're trying to sort through it and find new
Hmm.
homes for it. And it's classical music, so I listen to some of that. But there's plenty of inspiration.
So I guess the world isn't being deprived of any creativity after all, then, huh?
I don't think it needs to be.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Um, yeah, and it also depends what you want to do as a musician. I mean, if you want to get really good at reading music or improvisation, it's a totally different thing and kind of a different
true.
mindset. I think I always went towards not learning other people's music. I didn't want to, I just felt that I could never do it as good as they could.
Hmm.
So there's a difference. Like I used to play along with records rather than try to play the record and just find my own spot within a song. Although, that sometimes I would happen across the proper thing to play, but mainly it was about playing along with the record and coming up with new parts. So I don't know how to play songs per se like that. Like I would never be in a cover band. I
Oh yeah,
never
that's
learned how to do that.
the cover bands or something else. But it's funny because that's the same thing I was doing when I was learning guitar, when I was teaching myself guitar, is I'd play like what was it, like classic rock shuffle on some
Right.
speaker that I won at the arcade. And then I'd play my guitar and just screw around. Or it was violin actually.
Yeah.
It's my violin. I would
Yeah.
just screw around with the violin until I found a note I liked that stacked on a chord that made it sound a little
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah. And then play around that. I mean, that's basically all Swans ever was, is we play together. There's a drum beat sometimes that starts it, and then you play something. Just play something and see if it you can make something of it. That's the nice thing about nowadays. You can record at home.
Hmm.
If you're not feeling it, you turn it off and you go do something else, and then you come back. Whereas if you're paying a lot of money to go in a studio, you have to be more prepared now than ever, I would say.
That's true, yeah. Well, beautiful insight. We've got 5 minutes left, and I'm gonna give you a big question, and it's great to hear people's responses because you've got 5 minutes, right?
No
Um,
problem.
I need you to name me three albums, three songs, three whatevers. And you can do this as like three albums or three this and three that, or you can do one this, one that, and whatever. So you can do whatever categories you want. The magic number is three.
Like my favorite stuff.
Yeah, whatever. Oh, sorry.
I love the
Yeah.
first Tubes record,
Tubes?
the Tubes,
I'll look them
and
here.
the swing of the drums is so amazing to me. Like I can feel how the drummer swings in a pretty famous record. The Tubes came out in
Got that
70
down?
something. Um, but yeah, that drummer on that, and I love. I don't know the name of the record, but it's one of the earlier Mars Volta records.
Oh, I love Mars Volta.
Is just I really like it. It took me a while to like it, but way that's a great one.
Hmm.
So does that count as two, or is that
That's
still
two, whatever you want.
okay? What else do I love? I love Gene Pitney.
Ooh.
Um, Gene Pitney sang "The Town Without Pity" and so many great songs. He was kind of like what would become boy band music, I would guess. He was a teen idol and beautiful songs and what a voice. And yeah, I like bebop or I like doo wop music. I like vocal music, even though I don't sing.
Mhm.
Maybe that's why I like it so much. That it's something that I could never aspire to do, and I think that's maybe part of the Bollywood. Those singers are unbelievable,
Oh yeah.
and it's like, wow, if only I could sing like that, but it's not happening. but I can enjoy it, and it can influence, how I play. It makes me happy and excited about music.
And that's the whole idea, right? Music for happiness.
Gotta like it, yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much. This has been, I know we had some technical difficulties at the start, but
Well, part of it was me not knowing, forgetting completely why I was even home tonight. Was to meet you at 8 o'clock, and then next thing you know, I saw your email.
well, I'm a little glad that we did move it back because I got home from a leadership thing because I'm president of a
Okay.
leadership club, and I took a nap for like 2 hours
Oh,
because I was
there
so
you go.
I'm st kids sometimes don't do what's expected of them, and they would rather make a mess. Like kids my age just don't want to listen to each other. So it was a whole mess, and I was just so sick of it, and I needed to take a nap and go
Oh,
away for a little
that's
bit.
that's good.
But I'm back. I really appreciate this. It was amazing. If you ever tour, if you ever come back, make sure Atlanta's on your tour list, I guess, because we're here. We
Yes,
love
the
you.
other solo tour I didn't play Atlanta. I've been to Atlanta. I played with a band called DBUK. We played at Earl's.
Oh yeah,
It
that's
was
a
in
beautiful spot.
Earl's. Yeah, we played there. That was really cool. DBUK is
Got
definitely a
it.
band you should listen to.
I got it down. Well,
The initials. Yeah.
thank you so much. It's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully we'll see you with Swans. Who knows? And I'm trying
Say
to find
hello
of
to
a.
those guys when you go to see them.
Oh, I will. I'll make sure to shake their hands extra firm.
Bring
Your
your
soul.
earplugs.
Oh yeah,
It's
that's the one
still
thing I've heard
loud.
from
It's
everyone.
still loud.
I hope.
Yeah.
So have a good night.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.